Hey, what's up, kids, kiddos, adults, friends, family, listeners? We're back with the zoo. We're back in the stew. It's episode 21. We've got a lot to talk about. We've got some Storm of Fists returning because we've got a lot of fights to talk about. We've got to catch up with the zoo. He's got some good stories. Watcha Watchin returns with some interesting notes on movies and a couple shows that, we feel like you should check out. And then we're going to just wrap it up with some sports. We've got some F1 news, and I'll just do a quick update and do a couple quick picks on the NBA. We're heading into the second round there. But, hey, it feels good to be back with the OG partner.
The original gangsta.
Yeah, so we'll just open it up. What have you been up to, bro?
I got a new dog. I got a dog.
A dog.
I got myself a dog. A dag.
Diggs.
Dig. I got myself a dig.
Diggs.
Yeah, I got a new dog.
The story, though, they have to hear. But let's hear about the dog first.
Yeah. So the dog,
because the dog deserves the most attention, but the story deserves quite a bit of attention also.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's a handful. But her name's Senna, named after
Ayrton Senna.
The best F1 driver ever.
Senna.
Google him. Anyway, so I was, how Mike always brings dogs in.
Yeah.
It's just like, man, I need a dog.
A dog.
I just want a dog. So then I finally, I was always looking for one, and my parents were always, kind of looking for one too for me because they wanted me to have one. Let me just turn myself up a tiny bit.
Turn it up.
There we go.
Turn it the fuck up.
And
Zoo's back in the house.
So I never use Craigslist, but my dad loves it. He looks for farm equipment and shit on there.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really get anything from there. He just likes to look.
He likes to
I don't know
dig.
why he doesn't just Google it, just
Craigslist
Google stuff.
digging.
But there was a dog listed under farm equipment and service or something or some shit or whatever it was. And she's a half Australian Shepherd and half German Shepherd. And she's white, brown, and black. I'll put a picture of her on there when I'm talking about her. But she's 24 weeks old, 6 months. She's right here, right here. About 26 or about 25 weeks right now. Sorry,
25 weeks.
Just about. They always go by weeks. No, she's a puppy.
Holy shit, that dog's huge, bro.
I know, dude. She's gonna be big.
Look
bro.
how big she is.
She's gonna be so big.
Dude, that's crazy. She's
yeah.
not even a year old?
No. She's
I thought that dog was holy shit.
Yeah, dude. She's
You better get her. So, all right, yeah. So, Senna.
Senna. SENNA.
She's a
Google
sinner.
Ayrton Senna.
She's a sinner.
But yeah, so my dad found this dude out in Derby, New York, which is, right along the water for the most part, kind of it's definitely southern tier, I think.
Yeah.
But this guy had a place right on the water, pulling up. Just to backtrack one little thing, my dad found him on the
dark
Craigslist.
web. On the dark
Pretty much, Craigslist is the dark web.
Craigslist is the brown
for
web.
sure. And they sent me him that day. I'm like Craigslist, and the ad was so weird. It was murder. He had a golden retriever murdered on the beach or something, and wife left me. I can't take care of the dog. I have too many health issues. And I'm like, okay, well, let's just see if this dog's real, because
a murder was involved.
The pictures were super cute. So the
dog was great, but there was certainly a murder involved.
There was a murder that took place there for sure. I don't know the inside scoop, but we might have to do
some investigations.
For sure, some personal investigations, independent research. But next thing I know, later that day, I'm meeting my parents out there. They wanted to go out there and make sure it was legit, because they found him, or found her. So we get there, pull up. The house is just beat up, there's just tons of shit on the lawn. Just old equipment,
Texas
boat, a
Texas
jet ski
Chainsaw Massacre.
that are like from the 80s. Like, the first ones they've ever made. It's so fucking weird. Probably even older. Just tons of rusty stuff.
A lot of rust and shame.
Yeah, exactly. And I pull up and the dog's just like bark. I hear barking. I'm like, oh no, don't be that dog. And it's the dog, and she's barking like crazy. But like she was like just wanted to be like playful or whatever, but we couldn't even get close enough to pet her. Anyway, this guy, just looking at the outside of his house, was definitely a hoarder.
Yeah.
Easily a hoarder. And he was like 5'7". He must have been in his 70s, maybe 80s, probably 70s. He was definitely on mad medication. He had a rocking chair in his kitchen, couldn't go past the kitchen. You just walk into like a little tiny 5x5 room where a bunch of shoes are.
Shoe room.
Yeah, the shoe
Stay out
room.
of the shoe room.
Then into the kitchen.
Don't get in the shoe room.
Which is just countertops on both sides. Bags of dog food that he was just like
that he was also eating.
That he was giving me. He was like, dude, so weird. And then I often
think about living on my cat's food.
Yeah, he had a bottle of nitroglycerin, like a little vial of nitroglycerin in a prescribed bottle.
Now,
hanging from the ceiling.
This is where I felt like this was the most unsafe you were, because I always felt like that stuff was like what was in cartoons where they make bombs.
They use it in medicine. Because what it does is I think it thins your blood.
Yeah. The tablets. I remember that too. Because I think the guy in Dumb and Dumber takes those little pills and then he flips it with rat poison on.
Yeah. Pills are good.
Pills are good.
And then, but yeah. And he's like, talking like this. Like, oh, you didn't ask me about the bottle hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
Oh, I'm like, I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
What is it?
What is it?
He's like, it's nitroglycerin.
This story sounds like from Dude, Where's My Car?
I had like 3 heart attacks, and I got to hang it there, so I remember to take it in case I have one, just so it's there. And I'm like,
going to have one in a minute if you want to stick around.
Well, it's probably because you're breathing in fucking fungus and mold and shit. And I was even like, I'm nervous. This dog might not like me. But then, whatever happened. I took the dog. It ended up this guy was a massive hoarder. Like I said, we couldn't get past anywhere in his kitchen because it was just stockpiled with boxes and random shit.
Did you have to pay for it?
We did pay for the dog.
Now, did you run out with the dog in your arms?
I had to pick the dog up. No, the dog was on a leash. Walked with us, kind of struggled a bit.
A real leash, not like a bale of twine.
It was a real leash.
Instead of bale of twine.
But anything that guy gave us, he gave us a ton of shit. Dude, that my dad's got a Silverado.
The all new shit.
Yeah, 1500. So
1500.
He gave us shit that filled the entire bed of his pickup truck. Just random shit. Tons of weird dog food. He gave me like an old blanket of his that like smelled like him. He's like, you can let her play with it because it smells like me. I'm like, dude, put it in there, but I'm fucking tossing that shit.
Burn it.
Half the shit we tossed out.
Take my wife too.
It was just tons of random shit. I kept a couple bags of the unopened dog food, a couple unopened toys, and like that was it. The rest of it, and a gun. It was an unused like tennis ball gun that you can like fire the tennis ball for her to go chase.
That's cool.
I haven't used it with her yet because I don't want to let her off the leash. Yeah. I don't know. It's only been a few weeks, so. But we go to the park every day, and she's fun, dude. But that guy, so weird. And then his neighbor comes out who can't hear a goddamn thing. And I had to like scream at this guy in the nicest way possible to tell him what we were doing. And the guy's like, oh, okay, I have bad hearing. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But apparently he was like a NASCAR driver or some shit. I'm like, I never heard of the guy. I don't even remember his name. But that's what the one dude told us. And then he told us that like this guy used to treat the dog like shit. Used to beat his wife. That's why his wife left. And I'm like, this guy used to beat his wife? He can barely walk upstairs. Like, what the fuck? So weird. Yeah, she needed nitroglycerin, Her name's Kiwi. Her
behavior-
name was Kiwi. I'm like, yeah, I'm changing that. I'm tossing out everything you fucking gave me.
Yeah.
And giving this dog,
And we have yet to fact check to see if he murdered his wife.
Yeah. We'll
But
keep
he
you
might have.
updated throughout the season.
He might have. We'll keep you posted if he did murder his wife.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Hoarders thing, I watch a lot.
Never
of
saw
Hoarders.
that. Never saw that outside of television.
Yeah,
It was,
right.
It was
you don't
so
see it in
weird.
real life.
You never really think it's like, okay, these people are like
Yeah.
1 in a million.
Everybody's
to
got-
actually
yeah.
see that.
Everybody's got that one friend that had a weird family that their house always smelled like a little milky,
There was when I was growing up, there was a family across the street called the Stoners. The Stoner family on Pheasant Lane off French Road.
Wow.
And she ended up like shitting in the house, hoarding shit. She ended up like going to jail or whatever for child endangerment and all this shit. Really fucking weird, dude.
Yeah, just living on the edge.
Yeah, dude, that was fucked. That
There's
was a weird
always-
situation.
There's always stuff on the lawn.
Yeah,
Just
it's always piled with stuff.
just lawn stuff. But Hoarders is crazy. This kid posted a status about it, and it was pretty funny. I can't remember it exactly, but it was saying something along the lines of like, "Oh, I can't handle this," and then I was just like, "Yeah," and people were just dropping quotes on there, and I was just like, "Oh, I can't sit here outside and watch 30 people clean my house out for free. I can't take it."
Yeah, like
It's like you're literally not doing anything. You can't take it. You can't take watching people throw garbage out.
they throw out like an unopened toy
Dude.
from like 20 years ago. And they're like, "Why did you throw this out?"
It's
Like,
not even that. Like some of the
It's
stuff
crazy.
I can be like like possessive over like shit that doesn't really matter. Like I picked up like this little broken Lois like from Family Guy doll one time on a real weird mushroom trip that was like on the floor on the side of the road. And it just was like so perfect because it suited the day I was having, and it was busted, but it had been run over a couple times. I kept that, and I still have that. It's at my house. So like I get keeping stuff, but like not everything can be that. Like you gotta, it's fucking
weird,
garbage.
dude.
Like
A vacuum, like shit like that.
the one guy was just like had like all these newspapers. There's some crazy ones out there. Like there's some form of collection to some of them. Like some of them do have collections in a way. They're just really bad at organizing their collections. But then there's guys that like, dude, the one guy, it's one of the best ones ever. Michael, I think his name is Michael, and he has this apartment where the garbage is up to like the ceiling, and he has to climb, like there's only this much room, like where he's climbing on the ceiling from room to room. And dude, there's part that's the funniest part. And the lady, like, you know, they send in the professional or whatever, and the professional lady was like, "Michael, what is this?" And he's just like, "Huh." And he does this look away.
What
And it was like shit, like it was his shit bucket, like oh yeah, like there was no way he was using like plumbing, because like there was
yeah, that's fucked.
it was just piled. It was unbelievable. But this guy like wasn't that weird. He was weird, but like if you saw him walking around on the city, or like, you know, he lived in a big city, so if you saw him on the bus, you'd just think he was just like a guy at the store. And then there's people out there like that. That's the lesson that we're trying to get out to you kids, is there's a lot of weird people out there, and you got to be careful.
I remember seeing one where the guy had like, or the people had a dead cat. Whoops. The people had a dead cat, just like
Yes.
that they wonder what happened to. Oh my God. And it's
Oh,
like, how do you fucking.
They found it. They were like,
Yeah.
they were like, what happened?
And it was like, just.
I don't know
it was-
what could have happened.
It was flat. It was like half the cap, like.
Rigor mortis.
Yeah, dude. It was fucking weird.
That is fucking hilarious. But yeah, Hoarders really
Absolutely
makes
crazy.
it makes you feel better about yourself and like worse about humanity at the same time.
Yeah, big time.
But yeah, so the zoo's got a dog, rescued a dog from a crazy Texas Chainsaw Massacre possible murderer, so that's good. Quick open weird segment, Podwatch. Just wanted to drop a couple. I was watching. We'll sort of just do a little. It's Podwatch, but other podcasts, professional podcasts, comedians, sports guys that we kind of listen to and try to model off of. But there was a really cool one, Russell Brand. A lot of his stuff is on Luminary, but he had Eckhart Tolle on. That was really cool. Also, the Pat McAfee show. I've talked about him quite extensively, a couple different things. Everyone knows his show probably by now. It's probably one of the best right now. But they just had like an interesting contest where they had a trivia contest first, and they couldn't determine a winner for whatever reason, and they were using hashtags to like search the entries. So they do the live show obviously on YouTube, and then they simulcast it on XM, I think, and then they put it up like as a, regular podcast after.
Well, he's always had a XM radio show, hasn't he?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But they did this contest where it was just like all this shit in a Gatorade bottle, and the winner got $15,000, and it was like how many M&Ms are in here, but there was other things in there too. That was just kind of cool. Kid won $15,000. And then Ryan Russillo is another one that I watch a lot, and he does this thing at the end of his called Life Advice that started, I think, like as something that he didn't think was going to be that big of a deal, but then it ended up being one of the probably most popular parts of his podcast, and now
That's cool.
They're just getting a shitload of emails, and it's increased his engagement, I think, a lot. And they just had one where it was like a 3-parter. Like a guy wrote in, there was like a mystery about a cushion. Somebody at his house spilled wine on a couch cushion and flipped it and didn't tell anybody. So he had wrote in to ask advice. They did it on the air. And then like he wrote in again, and then I missed that one, but they had apparently talked again, and he responded to Russillo, and then he responded again saying like update, because Russillo said, I don't know what he said to do in the advice, but the guy ended up like figuring it out by having another dinner party, and then like brought it up in front of everyone and was like, yeah, I got to get that wine stain cut out of that carpet. And then the guy that did it like admitted to doing it.
Oh my
God. Like
God.
told him the story and said he was embarrassed. And then the guy, the owner or whatever of the house, like just let it go, and the guy said he would pay for it, but the guy like let it go, and then he just served his next drink in a sippy cup, and that was like kind of the end of the story. But I thought that was pretty funny.
That's fucking crazy.
But that was Life Advice. Cool. The cool contest, and then Russell Brand's podcast. So McAfee, Russillo, Brand, all three, check them out. I think we'll take just a real quick break, and then we'll come back with Storm of Fists,
A little bit of entertainment.
yeah, and some Watcha Watchin, and then some sportos. So we'll be right back. We're back. Reg in the Zoo.
Ew.
We've got Storm of Fists, brought to you by Always Sunny, Dennis Reynolds. Have you ever been in a storm, Wally? A storm of fists raining down on your skull. But the Paul brothers, we got a lot to talk about there. Firstly, Logan versus Floyd tonight. I realized my bank account isn't where I really wanted it to be. I was going to buy it, and now I'm starting to like think about it.
Dude, you can just watch it for free. Like,
yeah, you can just
the next morning.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. But what do you think? What's your prediction? We got to put it on the record. What are you forecasting?
I mean, Logan Paul's lost all of his fights, and he hasn't even fought a real boxer. And now he's going up against arguably the greatest boxer of all time. On paper.
Right.
Different weight class, though.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's Floyd Mayweather, though.
Yeah.
Like, what else is there to say?
Yeah.
I'm going with Floyd, but
Yeah.
I thought fucking Ben Askren was going to beat Jake Paul, too, so. Up until, like, the day of the fight,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, fuck, dude, I think Ben Askren is actually going to lose.
He showed up all bloated.
Yeah, dude. Like he just had hip surgery, fucking
Yeah.
6 months ago. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like I think Floyd's just gonna like make him look stupid by doing a lot of defense and getting him like tired out. But I think that Logan,
What weight class does Floyd usually fight in?
dude, I don't know. I feel like
I
he's
don't know
at
the
like
weight classes.
140. I feel like he's like so small usually.
Well, this is the biggest that he's ever fought at too. Now,
Yeah.
is what they're saying. And
well,
it's
you got
like,
the computer. My fucking computer doesn't work. So why don't you check it out?
Let's check it out.
See if they're like if they even have a weight. They probably just said it was catch weight. But
I think Logan's 190, Floyd's 160.
Oh, really? Well, yeah. So like that's if I feel like Floyd's gonna try to tire him out and make him look stupid, and then kind of try to get at him late, and then just sort of like not look stupid.
No refs.
But he better be careful because I feel like Logan can throw an uppercut, and if he does catch him with an uppercut, he could go down, and like I wouldn't be surprised to see Floyd go down because it's just like he's old, and he's like I feel like these Paul kids are powerful, and they're really trying very hard. Like I think like these guys come into it thinking the kids are not going to take it seriously, and then they do. But I still think Floyd's going to make Logan look stupid just because he's not stupid. And then as far as the other brother, Jake, versus Tyrone Woodley.
Tyrone Woodley.
Woodley, I was looking at his stats. He's fought Gastelum. He's fought Robbie Lawler. He's fought Usman. He's fought Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, and he like a couple more, and he's only been knocked down like once. Now he has gotten a couple of brain frying pan fried egg brain kind of stuff going on, as I obviously have fried egg brain also, trying to describe that. But he has gotten scrambled eggs. That one worked. He's gotten his eggs scrambled a little bit in his last couple fights. So that's an interesting fight. I think Jake picked a good one. Again, this one being a little bit better than Askren. It's not a points boxer. It's still kind of a brawler.
Yeah.
But that should show anybody that questions him if he's really made of it. Win or lose, I think we'll really find out who Jake Paul really is in that fight. Did you see anything about Tyrone Woodley's mother? She's like the sweetest lady ever.
No, I haven't paid attention to any of that.
I kind of forgot, but I remember when I think Woodley fought the dude from England.
Bisping?
No, he's a lefty. D starts with a D. Anyways, I'll look it up as I finish that point. He Darren Till.
Oh, okay.
That's who it was. Darren Till, I think, beat the shit out of Woodley, but then his mom. Will you check that real quick? See if Till beat Woodley, because I think Till beat Woodley, and then Woodley's mom was like being super nice to Till after, and his mom has been like photographed and videoed several times, just being an ultimate sweetheart. And Darren Till was just tweeting the other day like he was trying to get a petition together to get Tyrone Woodley's mother into the MMA Hall of Fame because of just how sweet of a lady she is.
He won by submission in the second round.
Till?
Tyrone Woodley. Woodley won.
Yeah, so submission. That's interesting. Yeah, Till was fucking... I think I watched that, and I think I remember Till landing some shots. It was a brutal one. But yeah, there you go. Darren Till, a good brawler that Woodley was able to submit, but we know that he's not going to be afraid. So we'll look forward to that.
And Woodley's taking it serious, too.
I guess Mayweather wants to train him, too. Mayweather's like, I want a boxing trainer.
I saw that, and then Woodley said he's fucking training his ass off, and that's why it's going to be the easiest fight of his career.
Yeah, that will certainly show us who Jake Paul is. We'll probably end up predicting that one later. But I guess my final prediction would be I think Floyd's going to make him look stupid and just dance around and try and get out of there safely. But if Logan lands, it could be a sleeper.
Yeah, and here it says, so 190 for Logan, which is equivalent to a light heavyweight, and Mayweather at 160, which is equivalent to a middleweight.
Yeah, and I don't think he fought at middleweight.
And like that's what I mean. It's not even a sanctioned fight. Like it's like
they're probably both on steroids. Oh, Jake Paul might be on steroids. I think he's got all this acne, and I saw like a couple weeks ago. I picked up on this, so this is a Reg in the Zoo exclusive. He posted something on his page like a while back, and it was like the side of his face, and he must have like on his next snap story thing. It was like, yeah, I got acne, whatever. Like. Somebody they must have been trying to like say you got fucking acne to be assholes like on the internet.
Yeah.
But like a couple weeks later, I was like, oh, because I've been saying like, do they test these guys for these fights because they're not real fights?
Don't.
So like, do they test
don't.
these guys for PEDs? And then I was thinking like, oh, so you on PEDs, Jake? Like, I guess it doesn't matter if there's no like. But
I'm
then
sure
it's
Woodley
like,
was going to do the same.
It's basically just like WWF shit. Like, oh, let's just pump steroids and fucking talk shit.
Yeah.
But hey, it's real. They're really fucking slugging it out. So we'll stay tuned on that. Oh, one more thing. Jake, as he gets older, I'm still saying he seems to be more and more savvy of a businessman and like a speaker, even though he's still got like a annoying boyishness and richness to him. He has some pretty interesting thoughts on the whole UFC fighters not being paid enough. He went off. He was just spouting off like during the pressers the other day, but he went through it, and you can go check it out yourself. But I just thought he made some pretty decent points about how these guys put their lives on the line, and Dana White and UFC take so much. But it did get me thinking, like, that's kind of like every like brand starts with like a personal brand or like a face, and then it becomes so big that it has to be like bigger and has to like serve a lot more than just like Jake Paul's almost like one brand, and the Paul brothers, like, yeah, that's great. Like that is sort of this world we live in now where you're like we are trying to do something like this with this podcast. Like you are like somewhat of a digital prostitute, but like the organization stuff is like once that gets big enough and you're like multiple pods of an organization, then that's where like it makes sense why UFC has tried to build it up so that it could have more resources, and over time it's still impressive what they've done. But I just felt that it was cool. He was saying like it's a new age for fighters and all this, and once again just pointing out that feel like UFC is like becoming, and MMA is fighting is becoming like almost like the biggest sport in the world again. But we'll wrap Storm of Fists and kick it over to F1 now, and let me know what's going on there, because you haven't been on in a while. So I want to hear about F1, because that's another thing that I said to you at work the one day. Like at first when we were talking F1, I was like, whatever, we'll do it. Matt likes it, but I don't see like anybody really getting into it. And now I'm starting to hear people talk about it, and like it's definitely popping up. So let's hear about it.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's owned by Americans, an American company.
Formula One is?
Yeah.
Damn.
It was just recently bought within the past 5 years, I think.
Oh, that makes sense.
And then they're opening up the Miami circuit next year, which is going to be huge. It's probably going to be the new Monaco, which Monaco is like a street circuit. It's like probably the most famous F1 race, one of them at least, just because of how narrow it is, like, and how fast you're going around these turns on the streets. Like, it's insane. And it's right along the water, too, so it's like you're driving right along the ocean. It's pretty crazy. But in Miami, they're, that's going to be like the U.S. version of that. But all the drivers love Miami, so, all the teams love it. So it's going to be like a huge event, and that's going to be next year for the first time. But the Singapore Grand Prix got canceled this year, which is October 2nd, I believe it is. And they're talking that the U.S. might get a second race this year. We don't know where. If anything, it's probably going to be at the Circuit of the Americas.
It would have to be Texas. There is one in Texas.
Yeah, so they have one in Texas every year already.
So Miami was the second American Formula One?
Starting next year, there's going to be two every year in America. And then, I mean, there's not
I
Not
didn't
every
know
country
that.
gets that, which is
Fucking
crazy.
Texas and Florida, man, they like to go fast.
I mean, they used to race Formula One at Watkins Glen, just a few hours away.
Really? My
They,
buddy Joel's there. He's out near Watkins Glen
yeah,
right
dude,
now.
that track is sweet, but they stopped doing that though back in like the 80s or something. A lot of Jackie Stewart is one of the most famous F1 drivers of all time, and he said Watkins Glen was his favorite. And that's what the guy in the place behind this building, there's an old guy that drives this SRT Jeep, which is, like a 500 horsepower Jeep. So he's into cars and everything.
Yeah.
That's the only reason you're going to get that car. And we were talking, and he told me that, and I'm like, oh shit, that's pretty interesting because of how famous Jackie Stewart is in that world.
So I thought that Florida was the first one, but so like
no, yeah, they used to do Watkins Glen, and I think there was another one, but they race up in Montreal. I think there's a couple in Canada.
That makes sense.
That's a nice one. But yeah, Florida, this is gonna be the first time where it's a brand new.
Where
street
is
circuit.
the one in Texas?
Austin,
Boston,
Boston,
Texas?
Austin,
Massachusetts.
Austin, Massachusetts.
Do you know? And if you don't, this is fine. I just figured I'd ask, not to put you on the spot, but like I've now probably 2 or 3 times I've caught early in the morning. I've caught the qualifiers, but then I forget to watch the race the next day or whatever. But the qualifiers are interesting. Do you know, like, they're like all going around the track, but then it's like, all right, he's going to do his like counter lap.
Yeah. So what it is, it's like, you got all the drivers on there, and the other drivers can pretty much fuck up your qualifying lap.
That's what I was like saying.
Yeah,
is like, can I like swerve?
But a lot of the time you got to think like when Ayrton Senna used to do his qualifying, drivers used to get out of the way for him because of how popular he was in the sport.
Yeah,
they didn't want to be the ones responsible for fucking up his qualifying run.
Then you're just like, you
and
fucking loser.
And why everybody's there is to see Ayrton Senna win a race.
Really?
Because he was just that good. He's just, you got to watch the documentary Senna. It's an awesome documentary, regardless if you're an F1 fan or not. It's just he's got a good story. People were saying he was probably going to be president of Brazil.
Really?
By this time, because like he did a lot for the people there, the children. The Ayrton Senna Foundation.
No shit. This guy's like
he was worth like $400 million. And he would
cool.
just donate money every year to all these charities. And he's like, I can't keep doing this. He's like, I need to just start one of my own.
Yeah.
So now he has one, and it just helps kids. And
the Ayrton
I think it's the Ayrton Senna Foundation. I think that's what it is. Don't quote me on that, but
that's
I'm pretty sure.
interesting.
But he definitely has one, and I think that's what it is. But yeah, it helps like, underprivileged kids and families and everything.
Yeah.
So he was a good dude, but he was also like a rough guy on the track to where he wouldn't be afraid to push you off so he can get by,
Well, you gotta be.
But he would also hop out of his car in the middle of a race to save somebody because he did that before. This guy crashed out. He's racing. He's coming up after him. The guy's car hit something. He spun out and was just knocked out like in his car. He was just blacked out, But the guy's engine was still redlining, and that's still feeding gas into the engine. So if he didn't turn that off, it was going to explode.
Wow.
Ayrton Senna stopped, ran through other cars that are going, that fast, and he turns the guy's car engine off and helps him get out of the car. And I mean, he ruined his race that day. He wasn't going to win that race, but he did that. It's crazy because he'll do that, but then he'll also crash into you. Yeah. Just to win a
That's pretty cool.
championship.
That is really cool. It reminds me of
Netflix is doing a series on him.
Yeah.
They're starting filming. I think they just started or they're starting soon, so it'll be out maybe 22 or 23.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
That's neat. I was listening to Russillo, and he had Rasheed Wallace, former NBA player, on, and he was just talking a lot of interesting things, but it reminded me of that, just kind of like that crazy warrior mindset. Just cool. Anything else for F1?
No, I mean, that's pretty much it. I guess we'll keep you posted if they decide to go in the U.S. again.
Yeah.
But that was literally just posted yesterday, last night. They were just talking about that. But other than that, Max Verstappen's leading in points right now. which is unreal because Hamilton's always leading and always winning.
Oh, really? Verstappen's winning?
Yeah, so this might be his year. I have a good feeling that it's going to be his year. But then you got Lando Norris from McLaren, which has an American team principal, which is like the head coach.
Yeah.
Team principal, and which is always exciting. I mean, not that I'm just everything America,
well, yeah,
but because
it's a world thing.
We're the underdogs in this sport,
yeah,
and it's nice. So you find that team, and that's who I'm rooting for. And Lando Norris he's like one of the youngest drivers, but he's in third place right now, and he's getting podiums this season. It's interesting. It's changing up a bit. It's not as boring as the season last year, which kind of sucked.
That's neat. It's like a global sport. I think I
love the global sport. That's why I kind of want to get into soccer more for that, because the hooligan fans and shit, like they're fucking crazy, dude. Like I don't think even the Bills fans compare with some of those soccer hooligans, man.
Yeah,
like,
that's scary. Green Street hooligans, shout out.
Maybe Raiders fans, I don't know.
Found out that Charlie Hunnam was Green Street hooligans. I forgot
who else was in that, but he was
Elijah Wood.
Yeah, that's who it was.
He plays a journalist. You don't fuck with journalists. Yeah, he's a journalist, and they hate journalists. All right, well, we'll wrap that. I'll just kind of do a quick rundown of the NBA. I'm not gonna pick. I don't think I'm gonna pick the series yet because it's technically the second round hasn't started yet. But
do they got fans?
Most of the arenas,
right?
most of them, I think have fans now. But yeah, it was.
Still think Buffalo has to get a team back.
It was really cool seeing fans back, like MSG, the Knicks. They made the playoffs. They got knocked out, but like having the fans back there was amazing. Trae Young, he basically like went in there and became a new villain because the crowd was just completely shredding him, and he like gave him one of the games, and then he went back and like fucking sent him off again, and then he like did a bow. So like he really like elevated his game. And I was just listening to Bill Simmons this morning, and they were talking about like there is this new influx of talent that has gotten into the next round where LeBron's out, and you've got like the super team in Brooklyn with KD and Kyrie and Harden. But other than that team, you've got this Donovan Mitchell on the Jazz, who's young, Nikolai Jokic, who's young in Denver, Ben Simmons and Embiid in Philly, Trae Young and a bunch of other young guys in Atlanta, Giannis Antetokounmpo in Milwaukee, and Devin Booker for the Suns. And then you got Luka Doncic on Dallas, Luka is going into Game 7 with Kawhi. Kawhi stole Game 6 last night. He scored like over 40. So I don't think I'll pick the next round yet, just because that's not over yet. So I guess we'll wait. But Jay Crowder, who has always been one of my favorite guys, just because he's like a warrior. Once again, he's just like ancient warrior almost. Bless you. You're not supposed to hold your seasons in.
I know, but I was trying to, because I'll zoom in.
You always tell me at
I'll
work.
zoom the camera in on you
and then
for that.
You'll die on the air. Oh, as I look and just check our monitor, I realized I forgot I'm wearing a USA jersey that is LeBron from the old. They definitely won the gold medal, I think, wearing these. But Kobe was on his team. D Wade, a lot of good guys. But I wore this because Jay Crowder literally beheaded the king. Anthony Davis got hurt in the series, Suns-Lakers, but LeBron is out, as everybody probably knows by now. But what I really found to be unique was, I think it was Game 3, the Lakers got Anthony Davis back, and they were being real cocky, and Brown was getting all like taking on Jay Crowder like one-on-one, and it was like almost like the whole Lakers bench was like imitating him on the sideline, and like Crowder got the last laugh. He ended up having a great series because he hit multiple threes. He guarded LeBron a lot. He's just a great guy. He was a former quarterback in high school. He played for the Celtics for a little bit. He's gotten he was on the Heat team last year that got to the finals, but he's just a real leader. And with him and Chris Paul on that team, and now Booker, who's an incredible star, and a couple other role players, the Suns could make a real run to the finals. But I did realize I had a tweet from a while back talking about the Hawks and how they're going to upset someone in the playoffs. And they have the 76ers, who Embiid is a little bit injured because he fell on his fanny. Big 7'2" Joel Embiid. He gets hurt a lot. He went up strong. He's a good, tough guy. Like, he's fun to watch, but he like fell on his fanny.
I feel like a lot of those obviously a lot of the players are tall, but the
big
7
guys.
foot talls, like they're like Great Danes. Like they only got a few good years before they start, breaking down.
Yeah, and that's what happened to Anthony Davis. He's like that. He's just constantly got lower body injuries, and
makes you wonder, like, what Shaq like.
Yeah,
because he lasted a while. He was.
Yeah.
I mean,
he trained a lot. He lifted. He got super jacked for a while. My dad used to think he was on steroids.
You see him now, though. He's obviously he's older now, but he's slow. Like, you can just tell that he's probably dealing with shit, but he doesn't make it known.
Yeah.
When you're that big, you have to. It's like.
Yeah, I always loved Shaq. If you ever go back to Orlando Magic, Shaq, dude, when we were little.
He was a beast in that, dude.
Me and my brother used to play Super Nintendo, and Shaq Magic was like, I was like 4 years old. I could barely talk a lot of words.
Well, they were like a new team, too.
Yeah, they had those uniforms, and
you
they
always
took on the Bulls.
Exactly, and you wanted to be them, too.
They took on Jordan. Like, Penny and Shaq took on, like, Jordan and Rodman and Pippen, and it was like, wow, who's these guys? And Shaq, like, I remember playing NBA Live with my brother on Super Nintendo, and I couldn't understand that Shaq couldn't shoot. And, like, I'd always be firing threes, and my brother would be
heating
like,
up.
Yeah, that was NBA Jam.
Was it?
But NBA Live was, like, more...
the Madden style?
Yeah, and it was, like, on a 3/4 plane, so it was like you're playing this way. And, but I would just be firing threes with Shaq, and I'd call him Shaq Magic. And my brother would just be getting, like, he's like, he can't shoot threes.
I know, right?
He can't shoot threes.
Yeah. He can't shoot free throws either.
So we'll wrap that for NBA.
I love all the team names for the NBA. They
Yeah.
got the coolest team names, I think, out of any sport.
The Memphis Grizzlies have the coolest uniforms. Not the coolest, but I really got into their uniforms. They lost. Jay Crowder's really good, but they've got these, like, every year now they do like an alternate, and they call them like the city jerseys, but they have these jerseys that are fucking sweet. They're like almost like an homage to their old Vancouver Grizzlies jerseys.
That's cool.
So they have like a weird like pattern in them, but it's more modernized. I might buy those shorts, but they're like $80.
Jesus.
I wanted to buy I talked about them on the pod, the Trying Times Solo Dolo stuff. The last 2 episodes I was mentioning Dylan Brooks. I might buy his jersey in that city edition because he just did enough to make me be a fan. But yeah, Celtics had a lot of stuff happen. The head coach is now going to move up, and Danny Ainge stepped down as a GM. I'm okay with that. I'm looking forward to see what happens there. But yeah, then we'll kind of catch my breath here, and then we'll switch it over. We'll take a quick break.
All right, welcome back here, guys. We're going to go into some Watcha Watchin / entertainment type news for you.
Watcha Watchin, bro.
So I just found out that Chris Hemsworth is playing Hulk Hogan in a biopic movie.
I thought I heard you saying something about that.
Yeah, I was talking about it with Jael the other day. And because they posted the picture of him in Thor. And then...
I just want to see his mustache. I bet you can't even grow facial hair.
Chris Hemsworth?
Yeah.
Dude, he's a fucking beast, dude.
Yeah, he's a beast. I'm not saying he's not a beast. But
he can grow some good facial
hair. Does he have facial hair? Or
yeah,
he can put a prosthetic mustache.
No, he can grow facial hair for sure.
I feel like it's going to be a fake
because in Thor, he's got a full-on beard. That's his.
Yeah.
But like he's bigger than he's been in any of the other movies.
For Hulk Hogan?
No, because he's doing the new Thor movie.
Oh.
Thor: Love and Thunder or whatever.
Is it a porno?
No, but I mean Taika Waititi or whatever his name is. I always get it wrong. He's directing it, and he did Thor Ragnarok, which was actually, I don't like any of those movies really anymore. You know, they're one and done.
Yeah.
But Thor Ragnarok, that's actually a funny, like really, really good movie.
Yeah.
Like it's
I liked how
different.
Thor and Loki they had good
Yeah,
chemistry.
yeah, for sure. But I mean, I think Chris Hemsworth's like the best in a lot of those because he's the funniest one. But yeah, I just found out he's playing Hulk Hogan, and in that picture they released of him, like his arm, like it kind of looks like a Hogan arm, sort of, but he's more, Hogan didn't have a six pack or anything. He was just big, and you can see his muscles. So I think, Hemsworth is going to have to stack on some of those,
some mass.
Yeah, for
He's
sure.
He's gonna have to accumulate some mass, like Mac.
Yeah, for sure. And then I don't know if you ever knew that Jean-Claude Van Damme was casted to play the Predator originally.
Yeah, I knew. I doubt our viewers did.
Yeah, that's and they just posted a picture of it.
That's cool.
And that's going to go right here again. I might even just put it on the entire screen.
I'm going to have to send that to my pops.
But it was really cool. And apparently one of the reasons he didn't want to do it is because you weren't going to see his face. And he's like,
it wouldn't surprise me.
And wearing the suit and everything. Jesse Ventura said he was like a prima donna or some shit. And that's Jesse Ventura, like in the 80s. Like Predator Jesse Ventura was fucking badass.
He has a line in that movie I'm not going to say on the air, but it's so funny.
Which one? It
involves slack jaw.
Oh, okay.
We'll keep it PG-13.
Keep it light, you bitch.
Yeah, keep it light, you bitch.
But the Mission Impossible 7 production shut down because of the COVID outbreak.
Are you fucking kidding me?
But we talked about that before when he freaked out about somebody not
their jobs.
About Tom Cruise freaking out about somebody like not wearing their mask or something.
People depend on us.
Well, look what happened when you don't listen to Tom Cruise.
Yeah, listen to Tom Cruise.
Production gets shut down for a couple weeks.
Probably because of him.
Then we got the Batman, the Robert Pattinson, Reeves Batman. So apparently, the Insider says that Warner Brothers is unhappy, but they also say that the movie is amazing. So the Insider says that the movie is amazing, but Warner Brothers does not feel that way. They're unhappy with it, but it's unclear as to why. We don't know that yet. So they're thinking it's going to be delayed. They're going to have to make changes. But apparently there's been rumors that Pattinson and Reeves behind the scenes have been kind of clashing or whatever. But I don't know. With that first trailer that came out, I was fucking pumped, dude. I couldn't wait.
Do you think that it might be related to something? You said Warner Brothers is the ones that have the problem.
Warner Brothers are the ones that have the problem with the movie.
Do you think it could have something to do with it being maybe they try to make it gritty and dark, and Warner Brothers wants it to be more child friendly?
That's when it comes to those movies, the best thing to do for them to make money is to make it marketable for toys and shit like that.
Yeah, the Power Rangers effect.
Or Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star Wars made, oh my god, it's unbelievable how much money they make in that industry. But I could see that being a thing easily because based on that trailer, they didn't do it with the Joker, but that's really not a marketable. You're not going to sell toys.
Well, it's
you will, but not in that version of the Joker. And I think they got to take it that direction. This is a different version. This is going to be.
It speaks to obviously with the Zack Snyder thing that happened and the Snyder cut and all that action. It's almost speaks to the world of content today, and it's almost like they could probably release how Deadpool did the PG-13 and then they did the rated R or whatever. They should just do something like that if that is the case, because it's kind of it's someone's creation. It's someone put all this money into it, and it's oh, well, we got to make sure we do this. It's well, I would have a hard time with that, having to edit down, because
I agree on
that sucks. I'm sure it happens with every single movie. Probably hear about it more with these bigger blockbuster movies. But no, that's weird. I wonder. We'll have to stay tuned on that.
So I got a random thing that I kind of noticed.
Yeah.
With Bill Nye the Science Guy. So he came up on a suggestion because I follow Adam Savage. The dude from Mythbusters, he's got his own channel. He does these things called One Day Builds.
The mustache one or the other one?
See that? No, that's Jamie Heineman is the one with the mustache and the beret.
Yeah.
Adam Savage is the redhead dude. They're legit. They weren't just reality TV show hosts and stars.
Yeah.
They have real special effects and stuff. Like Jamie used to do BattleBots and shit.
Yeah, which I revisited.
Which is
I
a
watch
cool
it
show.
all the time now.
But if this is just like my opinion, my kind of theory, I kind of think. But if you watch an episode of Bill Nye the Science Guy, which I did the other day about volcanoes, I just had to. I remember we used to watch this in school when I was a kid.
Yeah, if they rolled that TV in.
Yeah, like science class.
With the
Okay,
seatbelt
let's
wrapped
watch Bill
around
Nye. Like if you had a substitute or whatever, that's what they would put on.
Bill Nye or Nova.
If you watch one of those and how they filmed it and everything, when like the kids are on there or he's talking about something, like he's talking about the volcano erupting and then they shoot to like some random
Naked
video,
mole rats.
like some weird shit, yeah. And like the typography and the graphics that would come up there, like that it looks like
paper.
It looks like what YouTube artists are doing now with their videos and vloggers do with their videos when this is the way it's cut, and it's like, holy shit, it's like Bill Nye. His production team figured this out fucking over 20 years ago, and like that's what it looks like. Obviously the quality is not as good because it was filmed on those old cameras
and it's all like shitty quality.
But like if like you can totally
you
can see the relationship and how it's like. And I'm sure it's not Bill Nye like there's other ones, but like just because of our generation, I feel like it was kind of embedded into a lot of like kids our age head, and then a lot of the vloggers now are in their 30s and shit, and it's because of Bill Nye.
It's like a style, that like almost like 90s like style is definitely kind of coming back. We were just talking about something else, I don't remember, but kind of how we were like our generation's like the last generation before the internet kind of took over. And
the Jim Carrey movies.
And how like just creative stuff and like set design. And we were talking with Mike about like, he said he saw that new Army of the Dead, and I was asking if they were CG zombies or real zombies. He did seem like it was more real than CG, which is cool.
Yeah, practical, a good mix, like Lord of the Rings kind of proved that. A good mix of like the practical.
Yeah, like if you're doing the world building, like if you're doing like big armies that are far away, like that's one thing.
Yeah, but
like
close-ups, like that just
action shots, like
because like Lord of the Rings did practical orcs, and then the Hobbit movies did like more CG orcs than anything.
Yeah, I never saw
and
those.
It was like, okay, like this is lame.
Yeah,
but like that's just
it's so disappointing.
You can do good CG, but I think you have to have good practical effects that work with those CG effects.
Yeah.
To make the CG look more realistic.
Speaking of effects, the UABs I was telling you about, those like declassified videos from that naval stuff from a couple years ago. I read this article that was saying that they didn't know what it was, and it might have been hypersonic technology of China or Russia. And firstly, I was like, it's probably Chinese or Russians. Like, who said that? Like, that's not that intelligent of a prediction. It was saying, like, they determined it wasn't American. It was not, like, an American, like, undercover, like, black program, like, secret program, but it was either possibly extraterrestrial or, like, another country, like, testing hypersonic. And then this other guy was saying, like, there's no way because, like, even existing hypersonic technology can only go like one direction, and it can't like change direction, let alone like come to a stop. So that was weird. We'll have to I want to stay tuned on that story, because ever since like Tom DeLonge like started talking about angels and airwaves, like he really did, I feel like, push like more shit into the public. So yeah, the UFOs, aka UABs, we still don't know what those are. They kept calling them little tic-tac shaped objects, and I was cracking up reading the article because they just kept calling it the tic-tac. And I'm like, then the tic-tac stopped, and I'm like, okay.
Now that's what it's going to be remembered as.
Yeah, the tic-tac. And I'm like, did tic-tac buy the story and be like, yeah, call it a tic-tac. Sales are down since masks.
Buy tic-tac stock now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think that's good for the 21st episode.
Yeah, this is a great episode, I think.
The zoo returns.
Great episode.
Yeah, we're going to try and do at least like one or two, like, one a week, maybe at least one every 2 weeks. We're going to try and keep it going. I think, we'll try to start bringing people on, doing some interviews, maybe remote interviews. I know we keep saying that, but we really are. We got to build this. We got to get it better and better so that
takes a lot of work. It's
we have to establish
gotta
production.
have the time.
But yeah, stay tuned. Subscribe. We'll be back. That's about it. I was gonna cover the rest, but fuck it.
Save it for the next episode.
Yeah, we'll see you on the
next episode.
We'll see you on the next episode.
Take care. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Love you.
Appreciate everything.